or like re-domesticate them because pigeons were domesticated in the first place. And she's like, well, I am planning on having a funny farm anyway.
I love it.
Why not add the pigeons into it?
Pigeons are fucking awesome.
I love them. They're so cool. Actually, you know what? There's a girl I started following on TikTok. Forgive me, I can't remember her name. And she is like the pigeon girl.
Yes.
And they all flock to her. And she has like a little kit that she keeps with her. And when she sees them, if they have like strings tangled around their feet, she gently captures them, lures them in, captures them, covers their little head with a cloth to keep them calm, and then like gently like uses like cuticle scissors to cut off the string, and like it saves them because they lose their feet because of the circulation. And I just think it's so wholesome.
That's a beautiful Snow White moment.
It is. She's
that.
doing the Lord's work out
She
there.
Is. Absolutely. Save the pigeons.
Heck yeah, for the bird people out there. Anywho, hello everyone. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Dina. Welcome to the Grim Curriculum.
So today is a little bit of an unofficial part 2 to another one of our very much previous episodes. So a few months ago, we covered a few of our favorite, lesser known cryptids.
It was episode 149 for any of you who missed it or who want to go back and listen.
Yeah, so just over 10 episodes ago, we heard from quite a few people that we should do a part 2 because we missed out on a few fan favorites.
You all know we love our cryptids.
We do.
And we couldn't be more excited for another opportunity to share some with you that you may not have heard of.
Okay, you're going to have to help me with the pronunciation of the next one. Or I guess I should say our first one today.
There are a lot of words here that I struggled with.
Okay, so bear with us, guys. We are doing our best. Mokele Mbembe?
Mokele Mbembe.
Mokele Mbembe. Okay,
Yes.
so that's our first cryptid today. Mokele Mbembe. This one was originally going to be a part of our last episode in this series, but unfortunately he was beat out by the Pope Lick monster.
I literally, I had the whole thing written for him. And then at the very end, I was like, Pope Lick.
I think you made a good choice, but I am glad we are talking about them today because this is a new one for me too.
I really like this one.
Okay, cool. Let's get into it.
When we posted the episode, we got a comment from YouTube user Tico Lee who asked us to include him next time. So here he is.
Okay, so the Mokele Mbembe. My goodness.
We're going to struggle here. Bear with us, friends.
Mbembe, yes, is believed to reside in the Congo River Basin. It has captivated cryptozoologists and adventurers for centuries.
This creature has been described in a number of ways. Some believe it to be a large reptilian creature. It's said to possibly be a member of the long extinct sauropod.
Ooh.
These dinosaurs had long necks, small heads, and thick legs.
Hell yeah.
And were some of the largest animals to ever exist on land.
I love that. Others believe that he is a mythical creature.
And of course, there are those who think that the whole thing is simply a case of mistaken identity.
The legend of Mokele Mbembe.
Mokele Mbembe.
Mokele Mbembe has been passed down for centuries within the indigenous tribes of Central Africa. Its name loosely translates to one who stops the flow of rivers, and according to legend, it lived or lives in the deep and unexplored swamps and rivers of the Congo Basin where it hides in caves.
So those of you who are missing this, it's essentially a dinosaur.
I love him already.
I know, right?
It's so cool.
Many people believe it to be highly territorial. The mere thought of his presence has frightened fishermen who have passed down stories of it tearing apart any boats unlucky enough to cross its path.
There were often no survivors of these attacks. However, the bodies would frequently remain untouched, leading people to believe that the creature is actually a herbivore.
The stories seem to start in 1776, and now it's my turn for the mispronunciation.
Okay, here we go.
When writer Abbe Leven Bonaventure Proyart spoke of accounts in his book, History of the Luango, Kakonga, and Other Kingdoms of Africa. He wrote about French missionaries who found mysterious tracks in the deeper parts of the jungle.
The tracks were massive, too large to belong to an elephant, and had large claws set far apart from one another. They also noted that the tracks were set apart in a way that showed the creature was not running, but rather slowly moving around,
He's just chilling.
just lumbering along.
Yeah.
I love it.
Centuries later, in 1913, German captain Ludwig Freiherr von Stein zu Landwitz was asked to conduct a survey of German colonies in what is now Cameroon. He spoke with locals who told him stories of a massive creature that lived in the area.
Von Stein was extremely careful in his reports because he knew just how hard the whole thing may be to believe. Despite this, he felt it important to include what he heard. He wrote,
The animal is said to be of a brownish gray color with smooth skin. Its size is approximately that of an elephant, at least that of a hippopotamus. It's said to have a long and flexible neck and only one tooth, but a very long one. Some say it's a horn. A few spoke about a long and muscular tail like that of an alligator. Canoes coming near it are said to be doomed. The animal is said to attack the vessels at once and kill the crews, but without eating the bodies. The creature is said to live in the caves that have been washed out by the river in the clay of its shores at sharp bends. It's said to climb the shores even at daytime in search of food. Its diet is said to be entirely vegetable. This feature disagrees with a possible explanation as a myth. The preferred plant was shown to me, and it is kind of a liana with a large white blossoms with a milky sap and apple-like fruits. At the Sambo River, I was shown a path said to have been made by the animal in order to get its food. The path was fresh, and there were plants of the described type nearby. But since there was too many tracks of elephants, hippos, and other large mammals, it was impossible to make out a particular spoor with any amount of certainty.
many took these reports at face value. During that time, dinosaurs were going through what some might call a pop culture boom, with the Brontosaurus being the most popular.
Several expeditions were carried out in the 20th century, most notable in 1980 and 1981. Explorer Henry Powell, along with biologist Roy Mackal, visited the Congo region and interviewed several locals.
Together, they gathered several witness statements that all bore the same details. Mackle claimed that the purpose of the expedition was scientifically based, but did admit that there was a bit of romanticism in the entire story.
It can easily be said that this spurred a lot of interest in North America and that the Mokele Mbembe became well known throughout cryptozoology circles. That being said, there were still a lot of skeptics.
For starters, Mackle's training was mainly in virology, and he was not necessarily qualified to go out hunting for giant reptiles. Many also reported that he was extremely eager to talk to those who had claimed to see the creature, but was dismissive of people who didn't believe in it.
In 1983, zoologist Marcelin Aganga claimed to have taken footage of the creature but stated it could not be shared because it did not develop properly.
Hmm.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm. In 2001, BBC's documentary series Congo included interviews with locals who claimed that the creature was simply a large rhinoceros. Believers state that this could not be the case because that area does not have rhinos.
In 2018, a Danish film crew explored the area in search of the Mokele Mbembe. They did not find any evidence of its existence, but were proud to report that they did discover a new species of green algae.
Hey, we'll take the little W's where we
You
can, you
gotta,
know what
you
I
gotta
mean?
do it.
I really like this one. I think it really speaks to the little kid in me who
Yes.
love dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
I am a skeptic just because if this thing is as big as they think it is,
Oh, yeah.
how are we not seeing it?
That's just it.
You know what I mean? And if it is a remnant of a dinosaur or some kind of big reptile, surely it can't be the only one, right?
Of course.
Unless it's literally the last of its kind and it's just super elusive. But that doesn't ring true for me.
I want it to be real.
Me too. It sounds so cool.
This next one
Uh huh.
is my favorite.
Okay. I already see the name and I'm very much intrigued.
Our next cryptid is known as the NASA Gargoyle. It was reported to be sighted in Texas during the mid 1980s near the Johnson Space Center.
Frank Johnson, an engineer, is said to have witnessed the creature multiple times. The story was most famously told by his daughter.
One evening, he returned home much later than expected. This was pretty normal for him due to the kind of hours that he worked. What was strange was his demeanor. He was extremely shaken up. When his wife and daughter finally calmed him down, he told them a horrifying story.
He explained that he had been walking to his car when he saw a black gargoyle like figure perched on the edge of one of the Space Center's buildings. He was frozen in horror but continued to observe the creature.
He noticed that it had what looked like a large cape draped over its shoulders, along with two wings similar to that of a bat. Frang also claimed that whatever this was, it seemed to enjoy how scared it made him.
It's almost giving Man Bat a little bit
Yes,
from like the Arkham series. I don't know if you played
I
at
did.
all.
I did.
If you play Arkham City on Halloween, like the actual calendar day, now you
Mhm.
can either wait until legit Halloween or you can play with your PlayStation or your Xbox's clock or whatever. But if you're flying around Arkham City on Halloween and you come up to, I think it's a particular building, like it's like the Ace Chemicals building or
Yes.
something, and you come over the top, he like comes over the top and screams in your face, scares the shit out of me every time, but it's very much giving these
I
vibes.
like it because it's giving Mothman.
Yes, a little bit. This creature emitted a crackling noise and then suddenly took off into the night. This snapped Frank out of his trance and he unlocked his car, dove in, and drove home as fast as he could.
His family believed him, but they urged Frank not to tell anyone what he saw out of fear that his credibility or sanity may be questioned. He agreed, but as the weeks went on, he couldn't hide his encounter any longer.
Frank first approached one of his superiors. To his shock, the man told him that he wasn't the first person to claim they had seen it. Not only that, but months prior, a secret file had been opened in order to investigate the sightings after two dogs were found on the property after they were killed and mutilated.
It didn't take long before this story began to spread. Soon after this, NASA officials came to visit them. The family was unsure of who they were, but claimed that they were dressed in the typical men in black fashion.
Ooh, I don't like that. They interrogated him and told him that it would be in his best interest of him and his family to not talk about what they had seen.
Since then, there have been no public reports of the NASA Gargoyle. Could this be because it never existed, or because those who have seen it are too scared to talk?
I mean, it's connected to a very scientific thing,
Mm-hmm.
which immediately strap on your tinfoil hat,
I'm
folks.
on
Do
it.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like this one as well. I like the vibes of it. I don't like that it potentially murdered two dogs. Like,
No, I
you
don't like
know,
that.
you lose some good cryptid points for
You
that
do.
one,
Don't
I'm
kill
afraid.
dogs.
Yeah, don't do that. But the fact that it's to do with like NASA,
Yes.
that kind of creeps me out a little
Because
bit.
it goes to the whole thing of like, if there were otherworldly creatures,
Mhm.
where else would they go?
Absolutely. It's the classic NASA, Area 52,
Mm-hmm.
all that good
Area
stuff.
51.
I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves.
There
Area
might be an
51.
Area 52.
I'm
We don't
sure
know.
there is. I'm sure the numbers go as high as you can imagine.
Absolutely. Our next cryptid takes us to the Amazon rainforest.
Ooh.
According to legends, the Mapinguari was once an Amazonian shaman who found the key to immortality thousands of years ago. His discovery angered the gods, and they punished him by turning him into a beast.
The thing that's interesting about this cryptid is that modern sightings paint a very different picture from older ones. It was once said to be a giant ape like creature, but recently it's been said it resembles more of a sloth.
It is bipedal, large, dark, and very agile. The Mapinguari has a flat snout, backwards feet, caiman like skin, long fur, and large claws. It also stands out because most accounts claim it has a single eye on the middle of its face, as well as a foul odor that emits from its belly.
Holy cow, that is one heck of a
You need
description.
to look up pictures of this thing. It is crazy.
Because how is it that it has fur, but also caiman-like skin? And correct me if I'm wrong, but a caiman is like a crocodile type
Yeah.
thing. So how it be furry and scaly at the same
It has,
time?
in some of the pictures, like the drawings, of course,
And an eye, one eye.
one eye in the middle of its face. Others, though, the eye is on its stomach.
Ugh,
And
I
it
don't like
has these
that.
like teeth-like looking things on either side. It is
Ooh, and he's
horrifying.
stinky.
He's stinky.
Ornithologist David Oren pieced together a description in 2001 after interviewing witnesses over the course of almost a decade. He also spoke with several hunters who claimed to have killed the creature.
He concluded that reports of the single eye were said to have been made by people who believed in the creature but had not seen it. Others claimed, like I mentioned, that it had a mouth on its stomach.
Those who hunted it stated that parts of its body appeared to be bulletproof and that only shots to the eye or mouth could take it down. What is this, a monster from Monster Hunter?
Right? And honestly, it looks like one.
I mean, the description so far, absolutely.
Witnesses also claim that its call can be described as two different types of roars or bellows. It often starts with a low sound similar to thunder, but evolves into a high pitched cry similar to that of a human.
Oren himself claimed to have heard a call that lasted 45 seconds that sounded like jets flying over him.
This creature sounds terrifying, but as always, there are many skeptics who believe it could be something much more explainable.
Many zoologists believe that it's some kind of bear. The problem with this theory is that bears have not been reported in this area. Others claim that it is a ground sloth. These, now extinct, massive animals had large claws which could easily look like backwards feet. They also had similar fur to what has been reported by witnesses.
Another thing that they had was fused rib cages that would protect them from predators, which would essentially explain the seemingly bulletproof body.
One witness was shown an image of the ground sloth and stated,
And this is verbatim.
"Okay,
It was kind of like that. I think it was that animal. I really think it looks like that. Its arms were just like that."
well, buddy, I hate to break it to you, but I think you saw a sloth." Can the Mapinguari be explained so easily? If so, it brings up an even bigger question. How could it be a ground sloth when evidence shows that they've been extinct for over 12,000 years? Again, is it just like a one off?
Right?
But if it's big and slow, you'd think we'd see it.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
Where else is it going to go?
It's not sneaking away. Sloths, notoriously slow and
Mhm.
lumbery, and they're not sneaking away.
And the ground sloth was massive.
Yes, I've seen like illustrations of them,
Yes.
humongous, like bigger than a rhino.
The one thing I will say is with the whole like bear theory,
Yes.
they were saying that maybe the environment changing could have pushed bears into that area,
That's true.
but they've had a hard time proving that. So
Mhm.
what the heck is this thing?
Well, it kind of goes back to the same as before, where is it one creature that's just sort of lonely and on the brink of
Yeah.
extinction? But if not, then surely there would be more of them. Like, it's gotta be breeding.
You'd see a sloth.
100%.
And we want to give a huge shout out to Twitter user, a nerd named Mark, for that one.
Thank you so much. These have all been hella interesting. I'm loving this.
So this next one,
yes.
I only included it
Okay.
because it's hilarious.
Wonderful. You know, I was saying earlier, and you agreed, we need some giggles after Fred and Rose
We
West.
do.
And not only that, we've had quite a litany of really, really evil, awful, gross, nasty, disgusting,
Yeah.
vile people. So this is a breath of fresh air.
This is a very close second favorite.
Okay. Wow.
I love him.
All right.
Our final cryptid takes us to Margate, South Africa, where it was sighted on October 25th, 1924. It was reported in an article titled "Fish Like a Polar Bear" and has been nicknamed Trunko.
The animal was first seen off the coast where it engaged in a 3-hour long fight with 2 orcas. It used its tail to attack the whales. It was seen throwing itself out of the water to a height of 20 feet.
The creature ultimately lost its battle and washed ashore on Margate Beach, where its body remained for 10 days. Shockingly enough, it was never investigated by scientists, but a photograph of it was discovered in 2010. And Charlotte, I want to take a second and show you this
Oh,
photograph
please. I can't wait.
because I want to see what you think.
A polar bear like fish or a fish like polar bear?
Yeah, it was hairy
Okay.
and it was fishy.
Like a mermaid polar bear.
Oh, why did that autocorrect to Trump? Oh god, now I'm
Oh,
getting pictures
no.
of Trump on
No,
my tablet.
stop. Your search history is gonna be fucked
It
now.
is. I have screwed with the algorithm. So here's the photo. And again, they thought this photo was gone and then found it in 2010.
I mean, I guess it looks like a fluffy whale,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird. Maybe it's just like a weird genetic anomaly, like a mutation.
Mhm.
Witnesses reported seeing an animal with white fur, an elephant like trunk, and a tail similar to that of a lobster. It was measured and was 14 meters in length and was entirely drained of its blood.
No head was visible on the body, and the trunk appeared to be attached to its torso. Because of this, it was given the name Trunko in a 1996 publication of the account.
The fact that the body that washed up was similar to what was seen fighting the whales led people to believe that it was already dead during the fight and that the whales were simply playing with it. Orcas are said to use seals that they have killed as toys, so this is not unlikely. I was gonna say they've been caught like tossing
Oh,
shit
yeah.
around before.
Author Max Hawthorne wrote an article entitled Trunko Bunko, in which he attempts to debunk the idea that it was an unknown creature. He claims that it was simply a male whale, possibly a right whale, and that it could have been a rare white variation of the animal.
He goes on to say that if it was a white whale, it would have been more likely to be targeted by the orcas because it would be simply easier for them to see it.
Makes sense.
It does, and I mean, in nature with other, like, albino, crows and stuff like that,
Yeah.
different creatures and species, sometimes those particular ones are, like, pushed out of the animal community
Yeah.
because they can be a better target for predators and stuff like that, which is really sad.
And I mean, I think we've all seen pictures of like the pink dolphins.
Mhm,
They're
yes.
definitely outcasts.
100%.
In regards to the trunk, his explanation is simple. It's a penis.
I did wonder about that.
As soon as they said it was attached to its torso, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a dick.
I was like, it's either that or like it's young and it's like an umbilical cord or
Yep.
something.
Nope.
But yeah,
Penis.
wiener. While this may be one of the more easily explained cryptids we've covered, we wanted to include it because it captivated people for nearly a century before the truth was discovered.
Poor Trunko.
Poor Trunko. Yeah, I think it's probably just some weird, freaky, mutated whale that is
Yeah.
either potentially albino or it's got like a weird, fluffy gene, or maybe it's a remnant of a species long extinct.
They initially thought that it might be what they called a globule,
Oh.
which is essentially just a mass of decomposed whale.
Oh, I see. And it's gone all like furry and weird because of
Yeah,
the decomposition process. Yeah, I
exactly.
could see that. They did say it didn't really have a head to speak of.
Yeah.
And if it was in like decomposition and salt water, and plus like it's been like played around with orcas
Mhm.
and could be just this poor lump of a corpse, unfortunately.
I like Trunko because I found old news articles of like when people first saw it and they were just like, what could this thing be? What is its trunk?
A
It's
wiener.
a wiener, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one at least is somewhat solved.
I mean, it's one of those Occam razors where it's the most likely
Yes.
explanation is probably the correct one, I think, in this case. But what a great group of cryptids. I have loved every single one of them, and I have learned many new things today, which is what we always aim for.
And the thing is, the list of little known cryptids
Mm.
is a long one.
Well, and people keep sending them in. I'm seeing y'all on the socials and in the
Yeah.
Gmail inbox. Like, you guys have suggested quite a couple today, quite a couple, quite a few. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm excited to keep talking about this periodically because it's a fun one. And yeah, I've learned a lot.
It's a fabulous palate
Woohoo,
cleanser.
it is.
If you
Yay.
have a cryptid that you want us to cover for our lesser known cryptid series, email us at thegrimcurriculum@gmail.com. We want to hear, we want to include them.
Yes, absolutely. And as always, at the end of our episodes, we like to shout out to all the listeners across all the different platforms, but especially to those who are contributing to us on Patreon. We have a few different tiers over there at patreon.com/thegrimcurriculum. There's a free tier where you can get early episode reveals and some other bonus content. For all the paid tiers, you get video versions of the episodes so you can see our faces and our voices coming out of them. And there's a few other perks in between as well, Discords and all that good
Absolutely.
stuff. The Grim VIPs, which is the highest tier, get a shout out at the end of every regular episode. And so a wonderful, humongo thank you to
Mayhem Mudkip, Nova, Lisa, Kevinus Musicus, Brian, Bob, Paranoid Pop Rocks, Judy, Atlantean Jedi, and Steven Centauri.
Thank you, thank you. You all are the Titty City, the Cat's Pajamas, the medium pepperoni, and the large pepperoni.
You are hearing this. We are pre-recording for Charlotte's trip where she will be out of the
Yay.
country. By the time you're hearing this, we will still have our Patreon sale going, so you can get 50% off of any of the tiers. Check it out. And don't forget, there is a free one. So, I mean, it's fun to have kind of an early reveal of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's just overall a fabulous community of people.
And just one last thing about the Patreon before we sign off. I believe there is still a free trial as well.
Yes.
So if you want to see what it's all about for free for a week, you get video versions of all the episodes, see what that's about. And if you like it, you can sign on for longer. And if not, no worries. Thanks for checking it out either way.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you all so much for listening. This has been
The Grim Curriculum.
I don't have a fact for you, but I have a joke about cryptids.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I had one, but I couldn't find it.
Oh my God. Very nice.
I've got another one.
Oh shit.
Did you hear about the guy who got eaten by a lake monster in Scotland?
No.
It was a real mess.
Oh my God. Get out of here.
He ought to be locked up.
Oh, shut up. Amazing.
Bye.
He ought to be locked up. Get out of here.
Disgusting.
Amazing.